must stop. Sanwo-Olu bemoans Nigerian youth's foreign education fad. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has said the craze for the acquisition of foreign education among young youths must be checked. This is as he expressed deep concern over the disturbing rate at which the Nigerian youths are going abroad to study. He said, "It is highly imperative to halt the trend because Nigeria is losing huge amount of money through the process to other countries." Sanwo-Olu raises concern at the grand finale of the 26th convocation ceremony of LASU. He said Nigeria must make its schools, particularly tertiary educations, not only more attractive to Nigerian people, but also make them to be competitive with others at a global level. Governor Sanwo-Olu, who is a visitor to LASU, explained that LASU had already taken the path to become a highly rated university in the world ranking by developing its curriculum to meet global socio-economic needs. He declared that he is in total support of Bola Tinubu on the Student Loan Act, saying the policy would certainly help indigent students to realize their academic dreams and aspirations. Governor Sanwo-Olu, however, congratulated the academic doctorate graduates and the 11 eminent Nigerians who were conferred with honorary doctoral degrees and appreciation of the institution at the event. Interesting. I mean, the typical reaction they would want is, how can he say that? He probably went abroad. He probably sends his children abroad, blah, blah, blah. But I don't know why he's coming out to say that he must be checked. I mean, at the end of the day, the way they behave, the society and the country in itself, more than education, should also allow for a success of an individual. But education, the market, the employment or the job market, even outside of that, is not a conducive place for you to grow regardless. So what Sanwo-Olu is talking about is just it just doesn't make sense, because again, even outside of the education, talk about those who have already graduated and yet still cannot find jobs. And it's not necessarily a thing where like the people are not equipped. It's just they're getting jobs and skills where if they enter into the market, are those skills needed? Or are those skills that, Nigerians or those that have graduated have, are they outdated? So at the end of the day, with the growth of the country economy, the businesses, it's like everyone's looking to survive, and we're not really looking at ways that overall we can actually expand and promote and progress our nation. So he can't be surprised. I don't understand why he's acting like as if wow, I mean, the Nigerian youth must be checked. How can they I mean, obviously if you're really affected by this, you would take it so personal, because it's more like, how dare you as a governor when you have, I mean, he was literally gone for the last 4 years. And how many times were universities on strike? Students on strike for what? Almost a year? So those that are meant to graduate at a certain class would not be able to graduate until a year after, 2 years after. A course that's meant to take 3 years would then take you 5 years to finish, just because people are on strike. And so it's like, the way he obviously tackles the situation is very triggering to Nigerians who are affected, because it just doesn't make sense. And this individual by the name of Bello Mufutau says, politicians are always politicians and will always want to be like him. If he said Nigerian children should not go to school abroad, where is the job? Another individual says, you dement. Hope all his children are studying in Nigeria. Practice what you preach. And most likely his children are not studying in the country. That's just it's not going to happen. An individual by the name of Sylvanus Onyejekwe says you are a big fool and you want to fool me. Also, where are your children schooling? It's interesting because, it's like he's coming out to say this thing and pretend like as if he does not understand the reasons why Nigerians are flocking out of the countries in their numbers and are not looking back, right? People would rather go through crazy means to just leave the country than stay in the country. If you don't like your own space and you want to go to another person's land, I mean, come on. What does that say about your own people? It's crazy, honestly. And yes, we want to have the pride that we are this, we are that, and literally education and safety and security we can't even offer and provide for our citizens. It just doesn't make sense. So I think, as I said, after the elections are over, we're going to be back to routine as usual. Politicians coming out to say things, they would start their Nollywood tour of making decisions, and then in the House of Representatives or in the House of Assembly, they would literally start fainting, laughing, throwing papers at each other. And then, of course, it's content for us. We eat it up and say, yum, yum, yum. Wow, look at what they're doing. So really, we can't pretend to be offended or pretend to be upset when we have governors saying this, when they themselves understand and know the reason. I mean, look at Sanwo-Olu. When it was time for his campaign, look at how he was pretending to be part of the Gen Zs, He was going for sneaker events, events where there are a lot of young people out here dancing. I mean, at this point, the only thing he didn't do was join TikTok and start doing dances. He was literally everywhere. He was in the market, he was everywhere. So it's like, for someone who did not care his old regime, and then when he's contesting for governor of Lagos State, now he decides to be one of the people. Now he's got in the position. Well, we're back to normal. Nothing changes after all. You're all the same. Anyways, please put what you think about this in the comment section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.